information about Dark Match and tell us just a bit?
Sure, yeah, I'll just do a very brief intro because I really want to watch the movie. Bonsoir à tous et merci d'être venus. C'est ma troisième fois ici à Fantasia et je n'exagère pas quand je dis que c'est mon meilleur festival. Je suis vraiment excité. Et maintenant, pour les anglophones. I'm very excited to be here. Thank you. This is, I kid you not, when I wrote this film, I said, I hope this plays at Fantasia. I knew this was a place, and that's based on the highlights in the past. I would not be here without all the people. Actually, what's crazy is so many of them are here. I've never had this experience. I want to begin by thanking Department 9. When I was trying to get this film made, Mike Peterson and I, one of the producers, were like, we have no idea where we're going to go, what the budget will be like, and I don't know if I made a literal deal with the devil, but Department 9 has been so supportive. They've championed this film, and as an indie filmmaker, the support is insane. And I can then go on to say we have an amazing cast. I don't want, yeah, we do. He said ethnic. I don't want to get into naming everybody because there's a lot of them here, but we're going to bring them down after and one by one and have some questions after, I think. Lastly, I just want to say I feel like I'm not the best at introducing a film, so I'll bring in someone who's probably better.
Thank you. Good night. Guys, thank you so much for joining us here today. It's going to be fucking so much fun. Thank you guys for coming. And let's hear it for Lowell right here. Lowell team. So we're here to watch Dark Match, and we had so much fun making this about 18 months ago in Edmonton in the freezing cold. And it's so cool to now be here, getting ready to watch it with all of you guys live. Because this is the type of movie that you want to watch with an entire crowd of people. Because it's a lot of fun, it's dark, it's violent, it's gory. It's going to be so much fun to watch with you guys. And we have heard that the Fantasia Fest crowd is really crazy. Is that true? So when you see something on screen that you like, I want to hear you guys scream really loudly, all right? Let's pretend you just saw something. 1, 2, 3. So I want you to do that when you see something you like and every time I'm on screen. But I think we're ready. Are you guys ready to watch the movie? I know I'm ready. I've been waiting for 18 months to see this thing. Ladies and gentlemen, I know there's a short film coming up first, and then after that, we present to you the world premiere of Dark Match, a film by Lowell Dean, starring Chris Jericho, and everybody else that's here. Thank you guys. It's been a great time.
Thank you very much. This was exactly the kind of reaction I hoped for. It was obviously making me like this. I would love to bring up some of the cast now. I think it would be great to get them up here. And I'd love to do some shout outs to the crew too, so and I'm sure we'll Q&A and stuff. Do you think Aisha Isa deserved the belt? Yeah! We couldn't get her a belt earlier, but I think we should fix that now. Do we have a belt? That's amazing. When I was a kid, you know the Dolly Parton song Jolene? I thought she was talking about a man named Jolene. I'd like to bring up Mean Jolene, the amazing singer mom. We had him here earlier, but let's bring Jericho back down. Is the leader here? He left? And what? Well, it actually will work out well then when he gets back. All right. How about, I think we should bring up Kate the Great. Sarah Connor.
Watch out!
You may not. The next person I'd like to bring up, I put in literally everything I do. I love him. Jonathan Cherry, Rusty B. All right, I'd like to next bring up a wonderful actor who this is my first time working with. Does a lot of stuff. He can be creepy at times, but he's from Saskatoon. Michael Eklund. We really needed wrestlers to make this movie authentic. No disrespect to the actors. I'd like to bring up Mo Jabari. Also known as Chris Chocolate. Also known as Enigma now. Oh, look who it is. It is the leader. Do we have any more belts? I feel like maybe the leader will feel bad if he didn't get a belt, because at the end. Oh, Chris. Let's do the Then, Justin, Laura, can you come up here? Justin opened up his whole wrestling community. He's a leader in the Edmonton wrestling community, and he helped us get this movie in tip-top shape. Skeen, you want to come down? Come on. Skeen was the evil referee. He's celebrating. We could be here all day, so I know we've got to move on, but I would like to briefly, could the crew please stand up? We had an amazing crew, and I know we can't bring everybody else tonight. Look at all these people. Maurice Roy, graphics, designing, Emma Woodward, Emerson Central, Dean. Oh wait, I have to say there's a lot of people who couldn't make it. Some locals, Jean Frenette could not be here, but he coordinated all the fights. And Mike, he didn't stand up. The producers didn't stand up. A lot of people didn't stand up. I saw, like, whatever. You're a crowd. Thank you. I would also like to lastly, really shout out to Montreal's Kareem Hussein, who shot this film. It looks gorgeous. I'm very sad he couldn't be here. Okay, so this again, I mentioned this movie would be nothing without Department 9, so thank you, Johnny, John, everybody who helped make this happen. I've done enough talking. Thank you.
Amazing, so amazing. So I think I first want to ask you how this movie came into being.
Okay, I actually wasn't a huge wrestling fan. I was when I was younger, and then about 10 years ago, a friend of mine brought me to a high-impact wrestling event in Regina, Saskatchewan, and he's like, you have to come to wrestling, and I went, and at first as you can tell, I'm not like an energetic person, so I was like kind of sitting on my hands. And by the end of the night, I had lost my voice from screaming. And I was like, I love wrestling, it renewed something in me. And I also realized, looking around at all the people who were much louder than me, and really like passionately into the storylines, I'm like, wrestling's like a cult. And then that was the light bulb for this movie.
Woo! That's brilliant. So you have your cult wrestling idea. What brought you to this cast, this incredible cast?
I mean, it was just it would have to go down the line, it would be too long to explain, but it was a mix. I do remember being with the producers and saying, I've written for some with people like Cherry, I have and everything, but we need a good mix of really good actors and wrestlers. And so it was like going through and doing the math in the script of like, who's really doing the most fighting, and can they be a wrestler who's good at acting, or do they need to be an actor who we can kind of like, put them through a boot camp? So you can see the math right here, but it was obvious like we needed a wrestling superstar to be the leader, because we would have been in trouble, and thankfully we got Jericho. So.
Your boots, they are fire, first of all. So how did you get involved with this film? How did you meet Lowell?
Well, it's interesting because my whole career in acting, I try to stay away from like wrestler roles and things along those lines. But in this business, when you get offered a part, it's like gold. And so I got this call that we have an offer for a movie, and I was a fan of Wolf Cop, Lowell's movies. And then I thought it was a wrestling movie. I'm like, I don't want to do a wrestling movie. Well, it's an offer. Okay, well, let me at least look at it. And then I realized it's not really a wrestling movie, it's a satanic cult, action adventure movie with wrestling in the background. And then I really started to get interested and get excited about it. Crazy thing was, my schedule was nuts around that time. I was in Australia on a Fozzy tour, and I had like a window of like 8 days, and we had a pay-per-view with AEW, and there's all these things I had to do. And Department 9 and Lowell basically changed the schedule or constructed the schedule so I could do it. And now I'm like, fuck, I have to do it now. I'd be a real asshole to not do this. And then when we got there, just working with this amazing cast, I remember my first scene in the movie is when, the literal first scene when I come out on the balcony, that was the first scene that we shot, and I was a big fan of Stevens from Walking Dead, and I was like, fuck, man. I gotta jump right into 2 feet. I'm here with a tremendous actor. I better be good right off the bat. And we just started and went right from there. It was great working with Lowell. He's a great director, and just the whole production was so first class and amazing. And just seeing the film today was just killer. The special effects were so good too.
Emerson.
So good. Yeah, so good. So good. Overall, it was a wonderful experience. I'm really glad we got to share it with all you guys, because that made it so much more fun. So thank you for that.
The theatrics of wrestling, I feel like you were just made to act. So you were so incredible in this and so believable that it was like,
We worked on that too. I didn't want it to be like, okay, if it's Chris Jericho in a wrestling movie, I don't want to do like, okay, here's a Judas effect, wink, wink, I really wanted to stay away from all that and really become the prophet, the leader, David, which was great. So we really worked hard on, like, I don't want people to see Chris Jericho on screen. Of course you do, but it's more than that. It's deeper, it's darker, it's much more evil. And there was some really good stretching and acting as well. Obviously when my daughter gets killed and all that sort of stuff, he had some really great emotional scenes as well for all of us. I mean, it was just tremendous work. And I'll say one more thing too. It was really interesting watching Mo do his match, the Earth match. Because when we do a wrestling match, we do it once, we do it live, and you just go with it. You give it your all, and 20 minutes later, you're done. Mo had to do this match over and over and over and over again, and I started feeling bad for him because he's taking all these bumps on the dirt. It's super hard every time. When we had our fight at the end, with both Steven and with Aisha, it was like a stunt-coordinated, fight. So it wasn't really even a match. It was just a really cool Hollywood version of what a wrestling match is. When you wrestle, you want to get as close as you can with a punch. Here, we're like working the angles, and there's this sound effects and all this stuff. So it wasn't even a match. It was more of an elongated fight scene with our amazing stunt coordinator, who I think is from Montreal, wasn't he?
Yes, John Frenette.
John Frenette. So that was a good thing to do that first wrestling match in stages and scenes and cuts, and that was really cool too.
That's awesome. So we'll go to Aisha next. And Lowell's talking about some actors with some fighting ability, and you have a background in fighting as well, right?
Yes, I have 13 years of Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu experience at my grandpa.
She was like a unicorn. That's why she was like, okay, yeah.
Like you can act, you can fight. Your role was so incredible. What was your favorite part of becoming Nick Misbehave?
My first day of work, work was with Sarah and Justin and Jean Frenette, and it took place in that barn that we got to fight in the end. And I think that one of the things I was looking forward to the most about doing this film was learning how to take bumps. I'm just going to say it. And Justin taught us how to do that. He taught us how to take bumps and how to feel comfortable doing that. And that allowed me to have the experience of doing the very highly coordinated, like Chris said, fight scenes, but it did have some bumps to take. And I had the opportunity to do that. And thankfully, we also did have Penant, who's not here today, who was my stunt double, because there is a huge difference between taking bumps once and then having to do it over and over and over and over and over again. So I think that was the most, well, one of, there's so many, there really are, but that's the one that stands out to me, I think, because it's like a childhood treatment that kind of came true for me.
And when she says taking bumps, those aren't the bumps that Jonathan Cherry took as the promoter. These are bumps where you learn how to fall as a wrestler.
There's some of that in your loot bag. Have a good night.
So we're gonna move on to Stephen now, and your character, he's like the anti-hero hero, and I love that about him. Can you talk a little bit about becoming Joe?
I think certainly, we just discussed this yesterday, Lowell and I. I think on the page he was first written much more as a peacocking figure, much more male, 80s, I'm the guy. And I really wanted to play him as more of like, I loved like our scenes together in bed. I wanted it to be not only Aisha or the character could beat me up in real life or in the movie as the characters. I wanted to really sort of be of service to her and her character. Show someone that you would think might be a bit of a peacocking, but no, there's something else going on. So that was important to me. It just added another layer, which is why I loved this film. It was so fun to fucking watch it. But it was because it's all these different things. And that's sort of what I wanted to put into Joe. All these different things, not just a stock male 80s, come on, woman. No. Which the 80s, well, especially the 80s wrestling, the only women were generally I think it was the 80s, right? Like the Elizabeths and the managers. So I just really wanted to sort of be of service of, no, you've got this, dear. I'll stand behind you. So that was kind of the thing with Joe.
Awesome, like the chemistry was so great because I loved the fact that Nick just had that feeling that there was something not right. And like you stood out as kind of that voice of reason, and then everybody's like, no, we're getting that cash, we're gonna get that bag. But you're like, I don't know about that. So that really worked in terms of the entire ensemble, and then with you and Joe playing against each other.
Well, I was just going to say that I think that what Stephen's talking about allowed for that chemistry to come through, because it allowed for us to relate on a real level about like two people who care about each other. So I think that the way he showed care allowed for my character to kind of open up and have someone to express that to, and the audience was really just observing back, of me kind of telling him like, going like, see, like we get it.
So let's talk to the frenemy there, Sarah, aka Kate the Great. So I know you from a bunch of Canadian titles, and you're so fantastic, and I feel like you're such a chameleon. And this is probably the first time I've ever seen you throw powers. So can you tell us a little bit about that?
I never thought I would be asked to play a wrestler. I was like, yeah, you maniacs, sure, if you want to turn me into one, yeah. And Aisha, you're just the best scene partner ever. I agree with you, I had so much fun. You took such good care of me. Our doubles, Panad and Becky, are unbelievable. Unbelievable. It's been so fun, and also to get to play Chris's daughter is pretty nuts. Just an amazing
I had her
team.
when I was 8.
Yeah. Woo, that's true. It was just so, and I just love the chance to work so physically. We don't always get that as actors, so it was an insane time. We had an insane time. I'm speaking on behalf of all of us.
Yeah. I love it when I saw you come on screen. I'm like, oh my God, that's Sarah Kennedy, and she's wrestling. So I love that you brought that out with everybody. I just thought that was incredible.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thanks.
And Rusty B. Jonathan, your character is kind of like the kind of sleazy guy, but
Excuse me?
What? And it gets, everybody everybody involved in this. So what did you have to kind of capture for yourself to play Rusty Beans?
Well, Lowell gave me the script very early, and he told me he was thinking about me when he wrote that part. The guy's name is Rusty Beans, and I played Willie in the Wolf Cop movies, which was like a real rednecky guy, and he gave me a rednecky name, and I was like, you don't want me to do that shit again, right? Like, you know. So I didn't know what he really wanted. He just trusted me, so I watched a lot of Dark Side of the Ring, is that what it's called? I liked wrestling growing up. I drifted from it a bit. I appreciate it, totally, especially now, way more. And I was watching that show, and there was this Jewish cocaine cowboy named Herb Abrams. People in the wrestling know about him, and that was the big inspiration for that. I was trying to get like a real yellow tan too, but it didn't happen. And there's Rusty Beans, and I'm not on cocaine. I just really have to pee right now. But we can keep talking. I don't think he was sleazy. I think he was kind of a hero. He showed up at the end of the band and was like, "You're the champion, and you're a barn burner." So, you know.
I love him. He's the best.
Rusty Beans.
Rusty Beans. And now we'll go to Michael next. Michael, you are so good at being the bad guy. You're so good. I've seen you in so many films, and I'm telling you, every time someone came on the screen when I was watching, I was like, oh my god, like this is like Canadian, incredible dream team here. So, Michael, can you talk about your character? You're kind of the leader or the prophet's kind of second-hand.
I'm still trying to figure out my character.
Yeah.
But this is kind of a movie when Lowell calls, you answer. I've wanted to work with him for, I think we've been talking about little opportunities for the last 10 years, and this one worked out. And I read the script, and I got to work with this man again. We worked together, Sarah Cannon. And it was just a beautiful cast, a great script, and some new amazing faces I got to work with. And yeah, Lowell calls, you say yes.
Amazing. And we'll talk to our wrestlers here at the end, Mo and Justin. Can you talk about, I guess you were helping people out.
with the sunglasses.
Well, also, your character didn't talk. So, how did you, that was so incredible, and you had such presence as well. So can you talk to us about that?
Honestly, Lowell here, man. I didn't have much of acting experience in terms of film and stuff like that. So coming into it and having Lowell direct me, the whole meaning of directing and all that, I never really understood what they did until I met Lowell and how he directed me and what he wanted me to do, where he wanted me to step. Everything you guys see, whether it was good or not, it was for me.
You should tell you're holding your breath thing.
But honestly, it was awesome working with everybody. Coming in, Michael, John, Steve. It was all, these guys are big wrestlers. I would come to set every day, we talk about Stampede Wrestling, we talk about all these great things, and it made me happy to be around them. And meeting Sarah and Aisha, it was a great crew, and of course, Chris Jericho. I met him for the first time on set. Yeah, it was awesome. It was a great role, and I had a great experience. I'd love to do something like that again. It would be awesome. Kayfabe.
It's not easy to have a role with no laughs, and you did a great job. You did a good job, guys.
What about yourself?
Man, I don't know how I landed on a cast like this, to be honest with you. I thought it was a privilege to be able to work with everybody here. There's so many big names that are standing up here, and I thought one of the coolest parts about this was being able to mesh acting with pro wrestling, in that, being able to work with Sarah and Aisha, both of them really wanted to respect the art of professional wrestling. They wanted to learn about it, they wanted to do what they could inside the ring, and for us being professional wrestlers, we also wanted to be able to contribute that. We wanted to be able to come to set and be able to deliver the way that Lowell and the whole team expected us to be able to deliver, with this being so new to us. So to be able to mesh those two, forms of entertainment and put it together was a real privilege. And everybody up on this stage did such an incredible job being able to hold professional wrestling at such a highlight. So it was a real treat.
Hello.
Hello. So are you a wrestler as well?
I'm not a wrestler. I'm believe it or not, I'm an actor.
Well, I mean, you're fitting the bill right now, so I love it. But how did you feel like with all the cast and like just getting into that role as well?
Oh my goodness. Well, terrified right now, press down. But that's actually a very good question. So this was my first movie. I've done background and commercials, and this I think is actually something I really want to tell is I've done short films and things with my friends, just with like an iPhone or something. And I remembered one very specific thing. Well, at first I thought this was like a student film. I didn't know what this was going to be. I didn't know how big this was going to be, and then all of a sudden, I started getting a hotel and this, and I saw my name on the call sheet, and that's all I saw at first. So I took a picture. I was like, oh, how exciting, it's official. And then I sent it to my mom, and she's like, did you read the other names? I went back and almost cried a little. But, no, I remember one time, it was the first kind of thing I was shooting was that water match with Aisha and Sarah, and I remember standing there at the corner of the ring and watching them, do their thing, and I got really emotional because all of a sudden I was like, these are incredible actors. These are professionals. These are profound. This is what I was blown away at, just their professionalism, their talent. It was unbelievable. And each person in this line, I'm very humbled to be down here. So many just kind people and kind professionals, and I can say something incredible with each one of you, and especially Michael for taking me under his wing, treating me like just...
Skiing is Innsbruck to Vancouver. We got him an agent, and he's going to be in lots of movies.
Last thing I want to do, actually, if you could all help me out,
You don't ask for money here.
I constantly struggle trying to express my gratitude. So if everyone could please on the count of 3 help me in thanking these people. 1, 2, 3. Thank you so much. You made my dreams come true.
I think I have time for one question. Does anybody have a question? Right here?
What is your best memory of all the shooting? The moment you say, this will stay with me for life.
Anybody else want to start with that?
I just think, once again, to be able to do this film, and I was actually going to ask you a question. How did you get the nuances of the wrestling business so well? I mean, that script is almost like I wrote it, or something like that, You had all the little
Put that on the
elements.
box. I just did homework, I studied, I went to high impact wrestling, the local stuff, and watched more wrestling and read about wrestling, and whatever, when you write a script, you gotta do the homework.
Yeah. My favorite scene, if you're asking, was it looked so good when he stabbed Steven through the hand with the knife, and then ripped it out. I remember we filmed that for about a couple hours, and you were just covered in so much blood. More blood, and it's cold. It was minus 25 in the middle of nowhere. There's more blood. I felt so bad for this poor guy. His hand has been sliced in half. He's got fake blood all over it. It's cold and it's slimy. We're wearing, underwear in the winter. So that's a true professional right there.
Awesome. Well, that's all we have time for.
Thank you.
Vous demandez bien pour le prochain film, on vous demande d'aller dans le lobby, s'il vous plaît. So the ticket for the next one, you must go to the lobby.